All right, today's lesson we're going to discuss medians. We're going to save altitudes for part 2 of this lesson on another day. First thing, whenever you draw a median goes from a vertex to the opposite midpoint. So real quick, it goes from a segment from the vertex to the opposite midpoint. So we haven't done one like this yet. We've done midpoints, but we haven't done vertex to opposite midpoint. So let's draw that out real quick, see what it looks like. Here's my good old triangle. And what I suggest doing, step 1. All right, so we got to do the midpoints first. So that's step 1. So I'm eyeballing the midpoints. Later on, we were going to be measuring them exactly. So these are our midpoints. Is that enough information to prove we have midpoints? No, we need our segments, our tick marks on our segments. So step 1, once again, midpoints. Step 2, I draw a segment from the vertex to the opposite midpoint. Oops. So it's much easier to do with a ruler. So if you don't have a ruler, you'll have to eyeball it, but I can kind of simulate a ruler. There's 1 median, 2 medians, 3 medians. Hey, guess what? That's not bad. That's not bad. Oh, I got a little off on that one. Those are my 3 medians. My medians cross at a special point called the centroid. That point right there is the centroid. So this is the point of concurrency for the medians, or of the medians. We're going to learn some key facts about these medians in a little bit. There's some cool math that can be done. We don't have right angles in this case, so we're not going to be touching Pythagorean theorem on medians. We're going to use some other special tips. Once again, we're going to do altitudes on another day. Now we can talk about the special properties of our medians. The first thing we should do is focus on one median. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on the median from B down to F. BF is a median, and it passes through P, and P is called the what? Centroid. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to duplicate this image out to the side. This is something that you should be able to do. You should be able to find it on a picture and make a duplicate image in the same orientation. So once again, this is B, P, and F. B, P, F are the points that median goes through. Really, we just say median B, F. That's how you would name it. Now, there's a special thing that occurs on this median. It can be cut into thirds. This piece right here is one of our thirds. It's 1/3 of the whole segment, meaning this leftover piece has to be the remainder, the 2/3. So what we're going to do is we're going to chop it ourselves. We're going to cut that 2/3 into its equal pieces. So I'm going to chop it with this little mark. So now I have 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I have 3 equal pieces. And the neat thing is this. If you know the whole thing is 30, how long is PF? Simple math. It's cut into how many pieces? So you got to divide by 3 in this case. So if I give you the whole thing, you got to cut it into how many pieces? 3. So this little piece would be how long? 10. Now, this little piece would be how long? And this little piece would be how long? So if I asked you another question, how long is B to P? What would you say? 20. That's the basics of this median. So that's the basics of the median property. Here's another one. I'll give you another example. If I tell you this is 5, how long is the whole thing? So you could do this. You could say that's 5 and that's 5. 5, 5, 5 would be a total of 15. I could then say how long is BP? 10. Here's the last case that they'll try to give you. They'll say, all right, this piece is 12. How long is PF? Okay, so I took this piece and I divided it into 2. So 12 divided by 2 is, so that's 6, this is 6, and this one's going to be 6. You can find out anything you want. How long is the total now? 18. So it's all about thirds. You got to chop it into the right pieces. I could do that same thing for A, P, E. What was the trick that I had to do, though? I had to divide that longer piece. Well, is the longer piece PE or AP? AP. Now I have those 3 equal pieces. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. There's our third equal piece. So you could take whatever information they give you and find all the other links along that median. That's critical. They show another method here, but I've had more success with students doing this method, so that's why I'm teaching it. Here's an example where we can apply those little tricks that I just taught you. First thing, you got to figure out which median to draw out to the side. Let's see. They say M is the centroid and GM is 6. So they give you this piece from here to here. Is this my whole median, though? I need to keep going. So I need to take that piece right there and draw it out to the side. I'll bring it over here this time. So it goes down like this. This is the longer piece. That's the shorter piece. This is G, M, L. They give us some information on that picture. What did they give us? GM is 6. So that piece from there to there is 6. But what are we supposed to remember to do to that long piece? You have to chop that. That way you now have 3 equal parts. So if I cut 6 in half, what do I get? So I can repeat the 3s all the way down. Now, how long is ML? 3. And how long is GL? The whole thing is how long? 9. Now try checkpoint 1. Read it carefully. You have to look back at this picture. All right, so the next one, checkpoint is saying focus on FMK. Those are the letters that are repeated through here. So FMK, there is a centroid, centroid M. There's a median right here, F to M to K. I got to regenerate that so I can focus on it a little bit more clearly. So this is F, M, K, and they tell us one of the links. They say what? FM is 10, so I'm going to note that. That's 10. What am I supposed to remember to do, though? Cut the long piece in half, which is FM. When I divide that 10 by 2, what do I get? And I can repeat those 5s. That's easy. Now it says find MK. M to K is right here. How long? And F all the way to K, the whole length, 15. Now we're going to draw some centroids on a triangle, and this is one of the questions on the test, so you might want to put a star by this. Definitely on the test. On this one it says the vertices are given. So take a little time, go ahead, graph those vertices. Make sure to label them. After you have that graph, it says find the coordinates of the centroid. How is a centroid constructed? What pieces cross to make the centroid? The medians. So how do you construct a centroid? You might want to write this out. To construct the centroid, you must draw the medians. So once again, how do we draw the medians? From where to where? Vertex to opposite midpoint. Vertex to opposite midpoint. So I want to go from vertex to opposite midpoint. I need my midpoints though. I must have my midpoints. Some of them are easy, some of them are not. So here's what you can do. We have formulas to calculate the midpoint. The midpoint formula is this: x1 plus x2 divided by 2. y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That's what we're going to do for this. So we're going to find the midpoints of each of these sides. Let's do KL real quick. So K and L, these are the ones I'm going to do the midpoint on. I add the x's. So I'm going to do over here 4 plus 7 and divide by 2. And then 6 plus 4 divide by 2. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. Comma, 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. I'm going to go ahead and plot that midpoint. So it's over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there it is. There's our midpoint. It's also helpful to find another midpoint. So maybe let's do JK this time. So JK is right here. I'm going to look at those two. Add the x's. So that's 1 plus 4. Then divide by 2. Add the y's. 2 plus 6. Divide by 2. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And now we're going to graph those. So over 2.5 up 4. Over 2.5 up 1, 2, 3, 4. I have one more side. So it's JL. So that's the first and the last term. So I got to be careful. J and L. Add the x's. So 1 plus 7. Divide by 2. 2 plus 4. And we're going to simplify now. So 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Over 4 up 3. And there's that one. How do you completely construct your midpoints? How do you construct your midpoints? Vertex, opposite midpoint. Vertex, opposite midpoint. And really, you should be able to see it from two of them, but the third one just solidifies it a little bit more. Where do those cross? They cross at this point. What's the coordinate for that point? It's over 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4. The centroid is at what? So centroid, point P is at 4, 4. It would help to come back and do your little segment marks to make it perfect. So singles, doubles, triples. Now we're perfect on this.